Congratulations on going under contract. That's a huge breath of fresh air. You're not gonna have to worry about so many showings anymore, but we need to keep the house put together for the inspections of the buyer, for the appraisal of the buyer. And when the appraiser comes by, he does need in the house. He does need in the house, guys. The inspections, any follow-up inspections that the buyer might have. Now, during this time, you don't want to just sit on your hands. You don't want to just sit on your hands. Now's the time when you really want to call the movers. If you haven't already called the movers and get started to receive bids on moving, now you really want to call the movers, get them over there, start getting bids on moving. You've already decluttered twice. Remember back in step 2 or step 2, you start decluttering everything. You've already decluttered twice. So you got a bunch of boxes already inside the garage. So the mover's gonna be able to come over and give you a bid real quick. Call at least 6 or 7 different moving companies. Call at least 6 or 7 different moving companies, get personal referrals from friends and family who've had great experiences with moving companies. Don't just call one and put all your eggs in one basket. Call 6 or 7 different moving companies, have them come over, give you bids, make sure they're insured, make sure they're bonded, make sure that they have actual employees and not just random people that they pay $100 off of Facebook to come over and move your stuff. You could literally have some very bad people at your house depending on what moving company that you use. So definitely research the company and ask that salesman, ask that sales lady that comes over to give you the estimate. Where do you get your employees? Are they people you know? Are they people that you've done background checks on as an employer? If not, where do you get your employees? You don't want someone who might be dangerous or someone who you wouldn't want around your family or children moving your house when it comes time to sell your house. That could be a very scary situation. Just look at Dateline, just look at 60 Minutes. There's plenty of horror stories about bad moving experiences. Some movers have even been known to hold people's stuff hostage and charge them an extra $1,000 to be able to release their property, okay? Research the movers. It's very important. Now, don't book a time with the movers yet. We still have to get through the TRR repairs and the buyer still has to accept the repairs, but the closing date on the contract is an approximate that you can give the mover, but let them know, hey, I need a little bit of flexibility. If you're a one truck mover, I need to know that up front, because if something happens and I got to push this out a week, I still need to get my stuff moved. So verify with that moving company also too, that they're not just a one truck moving company, or they have some flexibility in their schedule around the time of the closing date that is scheduled. Does that make sense when it comes to movers? Let's talk about the buyer's inspections. It is best, it is absolutely best if you are not there. Don't be there during the buyer's inspections, guys. Go. If you've got the big dog, try to crate the dog at the neighbor's backyard, or try to crate the dog in the neighbor's garage that day or something. Or if you've got family in town, try to crate the dog at the family in town's location, house. The buyers and their inspectors need 100% access to that house on inspection day. You can't leave the dog in the backyard. You can't leave the dog in the garage unless they're in a very good crate where they're not gonna scare the poo-poo out of the buyers if they have children, the buyer's family if they bring family over. You need them to fall in love with this house even more during the inspection period. They fell in love with it when they saw it and they wrote the offer. Now you really want them to fall in love with it. They're gonna be bringing their families, their friends over to look at the house. They're gonna be like, oh my gosh, look at what I'm buying. They're gonna be so happy. And you as the seller, you gotta put yourself in the shoes of a salesman. You're still selling that product. Presentation, pricing, promotion, and placement. You've got to push that house like it's still for sale on the market. You're still selling it to them during the inspection. And the inspector, he's gonna look at everything. The inspectors are crazy. They look at everything. They get in attics, they look at wires in attics, they run cameras in the toilets, they run cameras in the drain sinks. That's their job. They look at everything. They've got infrared cameras now that they walk around and shine on the walls to see where there's no insulation. Inspectors, they inspect the poo-poo out of the houses now, guys. So the more you can make that buyer fall in love with it, the less likely whatever that home inspector says is gonna deter them from buying the house. And we're not saying cover anything up, guys. We're just saying be prepared. That inspector is going to have possibly a 50-page to 100-page report on your house of things that you didn't even know about. Nobody knows about what even builders building brand new houses are sometimes aghast. They're like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Things that come up on the inspection. It's okay. We're going to work our way through it. If it's something too much for that buyer to handle, no worries, guys, no worries. We'll cut that buyer loose. We'll go put it back on the market and we'll get a new buyer for your house. It's not a big deal. But anything major, anything that's electrical, anything that's foundational, plumbing, anything that's heat and air, those are items we really want to look at and really lean into helping correct for that buyer, because just like you, when you buy your house after you sell this house, any of those major items, you're going to want it fixed too, because those are expensive items to get fixed when you're buying a house. So as a seller, just keep in mind, hey, some things that come up, electrical, foundational, roofing, heat and air, plumbing, etc., etc. Those are items that you're going to be willing to negotiate with that buyer when you get that TRR report over. The appraiser, whenever the appraiser wants to come appraise the house, it's not a big deal. We'll let them come in, they'll appraise the house, they'll walk through, they'll take pictures of the inside. If you're in the middle of boxing, it's okay. Just don't have the house too much in disarray, but have it where it's at least a little presentable, where you'd invite your family and friends over at least when the appraiser comes. But if you're in the middle of boxing, don't think you got to get rid of all the boxes. The appraiser's just coming in there to make sure that the house looks as nice as it did online on all of our professional pictures, on all of our professional videos that we shoot on your home. Does that make sense on the appraisal? And then you'll have two other people that probably show up. A roofer will probably come over, take a look at the roof they will not need in your house. If a roofer says he needs in your house, call me immediately and say, hey, he's wanting to be in my house. Put me on the phone with him. I'm like, no, you don't want to come in the house. What do you want to come in the house for? He might want to see inside of the attic to look to see if the roof decking is there, or if it has roof like 1x8s up there, but we can easily answer that question based off of the home inspection. So he doesn't need to come, he or she, the roofer, does not need to come in your house to look in the attic. They just need to look at the outside of the house and determine if the outside of the roof, the exterior roof, is good or not. And then you'll also have a surveyor come by. They'll be wearing a giant yellow jacket. They'll have a little GPS tool that surveys and makes sure that the corner of the property is where the corner is supposed to be, and they are supposed to be there. So don't run off the roofer. You don't have to open the door when you're talking to the roofer, and don't run off the surveyor. The surveyor's not going to need in your house either. We need both of those people to be there to do their job so the buyer can move the property forward in title, move the property forward in the appraisal, and move the property forward in the inspection process. And don't worry, I know this is a ton of information in a short amount of time. Guys, we're going to be in constant communication. We're going to be talking back and forth throughout this whole process. You're going to know what's happening. You're going to get scheduled reminders via, Google Calendar. You also get notifications via the Showing Time app. So you're going to know what's going on with your property. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Thumbs up? Thumbs up? All right, if you're at a point where you're like, okay, Josh kind of has an idea about what he's doing, I am ready to give him a call to start this process. Guys, our contact information is down in the description below. Reach out to us, call us. If the voicemail doesn't pick up for whatever reason, call us again, leave a voicemail, or shoot us a text. That way we can reach out to you via text too and discuss the sale of your home or your land, one of the largest transactions you'll ever be involved with. We'd love to earn your business, and we'd love to chat with you more in person about the sale of your home.